Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, what's happening, my friends? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it is politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Before we move forward, look, on today's before we move forward, let me first get my lighting right. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. It was a little dark earlier. So on today's conversation, look, MSNBC, it will no longer be MSNBC. They have announced of a new name. They're going to be under a new name due to a recent merger where it will be leaving the name MSNBC, and it'll be called, well, I'll mention that later on in the show, but it has a new name, and I'll mention when that new name will start. So we have that going on. In addition to that, ESPN drops a documentary that they were going to be working alongside with Spike Lee, the legendary, iconic, Oscar award winning Spike Lee. He was going to be working with on a docuseries about Colin Kaepernick. He was also going to be, partnering up with Colin Kaepernick. So ESPN just announced that they won't air the Spike Lee Colin Kaepernick docuseries due to creative differences. Ooh, let's see what all that's about. In addition, let me tell y'all something. Have y'all heard of these folks that spends thousands of dollars to take a picture with Chris Brown, and with that fee, they can literally make him do what, well, I won't say make him do whatever, but it's like it's a theme. They're in charge of the theme of the photo. How do you want to make it very intimate? Do you want to make it real this, that? And so I'm looking at this list, I'm like, what in the world? And I want to talk about it because really, I think it's a cry for help, y'all. It's a cry for help. Because in my opinion, I doubted that these folks that spend thousands of dollars are folks that can afford to spend $1,000 for a damn photo. So that's why I got a lot to say. And furthermore, far right-wing conservative network pays a hefty settlement to Dominion voting systems in a defamation case. Making your guesses who? Well, I'll mention it later on in the show. But before we discuss all that, until we discuss all that, as always, folks, thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, your friend, Arrington Gavin. For those who are watching, yes, you see me sporting my alma mater, Chowan University, based out of Murfreesboro, North Carolina. Yep, I was feeling very proud of my alma mater day, so I decided to wear a Chowan shirt. But yeah, man, thank you so much. As always, for those who are watching us, please do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe, share with everybody. We want to continue to grow those subscribers and viewership numbers. We want to keep that momentum going. So please, without your help, we can't continue on this good fight and this good cause. So we please continue to support the program. In addition to that, you can also stream us on the GOATverse TV network. Please download the app. If you haven't done so, download the app. It's free. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. Again, the name of that app is GOATverse TV. And of course, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Odyssey, iHeart, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. Please follow the Arrington Gavin Show. Give us 5 stars. And yeah, we want and leave comments. I mean, please, we want to hear the feedback. We want to hear the feedback. See how we're doing here. If there's something you would like to hear more about, please share it with us. And also, I want to shout out our 2 radio affiliates. First, in the New Orleans area, those who probably listen to us right now, in New Orleans by way of WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin show weeknights, Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Central. Excuse me, 7 p.m. Central time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 AM. And then we're going to move it on to the Metro Atlanta region to WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so now we got that going. Let's go ahead and bring on a fun fact. So here is a fun fact that I just read about today. And that fun fact is this is actually a recent study. I thought it was quite interesting. So, recent study shows that women reach full emotional maturity at age 32, but it takes men to age 43. All right. Women 32, men 43. Why do you think so? Well, let me read you this. According to Medical Daily, women generally reach emotional maturity around age 32, while men tend to get there closer to 43. Emotional maturity isn't just about age, it's about being able to handle emotions, communicate well, take responsibility, and show empathy. Women often reach this stage earlier, shaped by biology, social expectations, and life experiences that push them to grow faster. Now, men, on the other hand, may face cultural pressure to hide vulnerability, which can slow the growth of emotional maturity. This difference can sometimes cause challenges in relationships, but being aware of it helps couples approach each other with more patience and understanding. In the end, emotional maturity is an ongoing journey, no matter when it begins. Now, this was interesting, y'all, because I continue to have this conversation with the fellas, right? I've had this conversation on previous podcast projects that I've done, and we're always going to come across this toxic masculinity conversation, right? What is it? What is the definition of a man's man, right? Are you a man's man or are you just a man? Because if you ain't a man's man, you're gonna be called out, right? You're gonna be looked upon as small. You're not gonna be looked as a tough guy to some other women or just by circle of male friends. This study is interesting because it's stuff we witness, especially being a black male, right? When we talk about being vulnerable, you see in a lot of folks, like I'll just, for example, Charlemagne the God, he speaks a lot on mental health. Mental health in the black community is still becoming more and more, what's the word? More and more, it's growing more because it previously was very foreign, is what I'm trying to say. You always had to hide your emotions. And that was for men and women, but specifically for men, because men, you had to have this toughness, right? You had to be like, you're the protector, regardless of which age, right? Especially if you're in a single parent household, or if you're not uh uh skillful with your hands, if you don't know how to change the time, if you don't know how to do this, if you're not strong enough, you know what I mean? If you don't play tough sports, like if you were a man, you got to play football, you got to wrestle, you got to do boxing, you got to do the tough man sports. But what, golf, tennis, what? Volleyball, what are you talking? Swimming, what? No, gymnastics, oh, get out of here, what? So it is. So the fact that the later stages start at 43, maybe it's because by then those men become parents, they become fathers, right? Or they might have, by then, they might have lost a loved one, someone that they really cared about, or they come across an addiction of themselves. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. But all I would say this to you, brothers: being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength. Okay, showing your emotion is a sign of strength. I am very open about my emotion. Okay. For example, when my wife and I got married at our wedding, who was the first person to cry? Me. I didn't feel I was weak amongst my friends and family. It was a beautiful moment, My wife was fun, was beautiful there. Everybody else was just enjoying, embracing this wonderful occasion. I'm gonna tell you some other things. I remember seeing folks cry. I mean, when Obama first became president of the United States, who remembers Jesse Jackson crying? That man was crying, and did he have a ugly that crying face? Ooh, everybody got different crying faces. Jesse had one crying face. But all jokes aside, though, in his generation, in his mind, he never could imagine. We just witnessed the first black president, okay, ever. What number was he, y'all? Remind me, was he okay, wait. Trump is 47. Biden was 46. Trump again was 45, and then okay, so 44 and 43. So 43. He at the time he was the 43rd president. Yeah. So yeah, it's just being vulnerable. Ain't nothing wrong with that, y'all. Please give me a break. And those who ever tease folks of being, in their sense, weak and one, y'all weak. Y'all weak, because you know what they say, whenever you point fingers, there's two fingers pointing right back at you. So please ignore the nonsense, ignore the bullying, ignore any of those stupid fools that say, oh man, you weak when you cry. Man, show your emotion, man. It is nothing wrong with showing your emotions. So hopefully that through later years that number will start creeping down, so it'll be more embraced and more comfortable. But I just thought that was quite interesting. Let's see here. We're gonna head to a commercial break, my friends. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot more show for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Jazera Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JazeranLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, Arrington Gavin. As I mentioned earlier, y'all won't believe the changes that are happening in front of our eyes. The liberal network, MSNBC, has announced that they will be changing its name. And check this out. They will be changing its name to MS Now. Now, let me share you this clip. This is from Joe Scarborough, who's the host, the star of his own morning program called Morning Joe, which had for years had been the premier show of that network. He had mentioned it earlier on his program. So let me go ahead and share this soundbite with you.
Breaking news as it pertains to our network. This morning, a new name for the network by the end of the year. We will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like
There it is.
Actually,
The new logo.
It looks very sporty. As we go to Versant, we're going to be moving in this direction. MS Now, which I got to say, I got a call yesterday afternoon, and they're saying, "We hope you're okay." We're going. I was like, "What do you mean?" Like this shows we're independent. And what I've said on this show time and time again is you look at the people that are running the company, they're entrepreneurial.
Right.
Like when you have somebody come into your company after working for like big corporations and you're talking, you're saying, and they go, "We want you to be entrepreneurial. We want you to come up with new ideas. We want you to push the boundaries." I'm excited about that. So I'm excited about this too. It's like, what's in a name? Well, whatever you put into the name.
Well, look, my understanding is this decision was a choice by NBC Universal. Right. Remember, originally they were going to leave the Peacock with the different units. Right. They decided that they wanted that to stay with NBC Universal. Having said that, despite my sentimentality about the Peacock, I've always loved the Peacock. Yeah. The truth is, I've always thought about this network and CNBC and USA and actually all of those assets as insurgent networks. Right. This is an insurgent network. And I love the idea, to be honest with you. You can take out your salt shaker or whatever you want to do and say, take it with a grain of salt. But I like this because I think it actually does have this sort of independence and actually gets away in some ways from even the idea of legacy media. Yeah. Right. I mean, I think what you're seeing MS do and what you're seeing some of these other networks do now is not just linear, but by the way, I'm watching you on TikTok now. Do you know that?
We have breaking news.
All righty. So, yeah. You heard it there, folks. You heard it there. MSNBC has announced that they will be changing its name, and the name will be MS Now. MS Now. Let me go ahead and pull up a graphic for those who are watching so you can see what the logo, the name, all that good stuff means. So I'll read you this article reported by NBC News. So there you go right there. So obviously you see the MSNBC original one, right? The colorful little, I guess, what does that look like? Bird feathers that opened wide. Now you got MS Now, which stands for My Source, News, Opinion, World, which I'm assuming that's all the avenues it's going to hit on their network. They're going to hit news. They're going to hit opinion-based stuff, and they're going to hit world news as well. So it's interesting. MSNBC, as I mentioned, will be changing its name to MS Now, and unveiled the new logo, as I mentioned right here, later this year as part of the cable news channel's spinoff from Comcast owned media company, NBC Universal. Now, Comcast announced last year that it would spin off most of its cable television networks into a separate publicly traded company called Versant. The new company will include MSNBC and the financial news channel CNBC. So again, the news company will include MSNBC and the financial news channel CNBC, which I think is solid. Those are two premier, having one thing I think is very resourceful is when you have your news-based platforms, whether that's straightforward news, opinion news, whatever, and then you have an attachment of strictly financial-based news. That's important because more people are starting to be intrigued with, numbers. Not everybody is in the stocks and this and that and the other, but it's very resourceful still having that. In addition to that, they also have USA Network, which is a premier channel, Oxygen, E, Sci-Fi, and the Golf Channel. So pretty good. I guess what is it? Purchase for this company on purchasing these channels. The branding changes represents Versant's emphasis on building our individual identity and vision for the future while laying foundation for the continued growth and success of our businesses. Now, Versant CEO Mark Lazarus said in a memo to the staff recently, the peacock is synonymous with NBC Universal and its symbol. And it is a symbol they have decided to keep within the NBCU family. This gives us the opportunity to charge our own path forward, create distinct brand identities, and establish an independent news organization following the spin. Now, one thing we've realized, y'all, just in due to recent political climate, the news now is so different compared to how they used to be back in the day. Now, you can say, "Oh, that's all thanks to President Donald Trump, who's really changed the political space." Right? He's very unfiltered. He's not traditional when it comes to politics. At one point, having your CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, that was cool. That was fine. It was. Hey, people had their differences, but it was in a respectful manner. Now, in recent years, you've had the research, not researchers, but you have the startup new networks like News Nation. Then you had Newsmax, right? Which we talk about Newsmax a little later, but you have News Nation who's giving you that bipartisan take on things. Newsmax is just more conservative than Fox News because they were, in their mind, they said, "Oh, Fox News doesn't have Trump's back like the conservative network should. So we're gonna start Newsmax and be the ultimate ass-kissing network that will only praise Trump and this and that and the other." And that's what they're doing. So now both sides, how I am with the two-party system. Viewers now want something less partisan and just give us the give us the information, please. We can care less about the this and that and the other, right and left. There's still folks that still choose to get, that's the kind of news they want, but people want to have that independent mindset. They're tired of it. So having that separation from legacy media, like you heard Joe Scarborough and the gentleman from CNBC speak on in that clip that I shared with you all. You're owned by a bunch of entrepreneurs. You're born from, so in a sense, we're not corporate owned. We don't have but in my opinion, I'm like, it's still kind of corporate, Joe. As much as y'all can say you're more independent, but I guess I get his take on it because look at the versatility within the name now. My source, News, Opinion, World. It's giving you a little bit of everything. It's giving you a little bit of everything, which is what most news platforms do. So the question is, will it be a huge difference with this new name change? Does that mean new shows? Does that mean new shows will be brought in? Does that mean some shows will be canceled and they're like, "Hey, look, we got a new network. It's time to a fresh new look, new hours, new faces. We got to start breaking in the, if we want to be competitors here, we have to start bringing in the real premier voices, at least that has large followings, to our networks." I mean, I'm curious. Whew, that's gonna be a tongue twister. MS Now, MSNBC, MS Now. Welcome to such and such here on MS Now. Like, it's interesting. MSNBC President Rebecca Coulter said the network will not change editorial direction as it builds out its own news gathering operation entirely separate from NBC News. Now, NBC launched in 1996 as a joint venture between MSNBC News and Microsoft. Now, a quote here from Coulter says, "While our name will be changing, we are and we do." Well, hold on. "Who we are and what we do will not." Okay, so I guess that answers my question right there. "Our commitment to our work and audience will not waver from the brand promise has been for 3 decades." Now that I don't think is a smart idea. The reason why, guys, it's not like MSNBC is top tier, right? There's always going to be a toss up between them and CNN as far as with the ratings. In my opinion, I think I will still, consider CNN above MSNBC. I think MSNBC had really, I watch them all. I'm a news junkie galore. I watch literally everything. But what MSNBC previously had, you had Joy on there, you had Katie Fang. Both of them are no longer with the network. You revamped the lineup, you revamped the voices on there. Ugh, I don't know how it's gonna look. I mean, if they're gonna continue the same concept, good luck. But I think they personally should change it up a little bit. If you want to keep Joe's or Morning Joe, hey, it's a great concept name, but it's been on there for I think well over 16 years, maybe almost 20. I could be wrong. That's been on on that network for a long time. Oh well, actually, I'll take it back. I think it will work because here's the thing: Joe has been catching some heat with his thoughts on some of the positions that the Trump administration is taking, and he's been called up by his own colleagues. I mean, former RNC chair Michael Steele and him had a on air back and forth. Simone Sanders Townsend had a back and forth recently. Simone is a co-host on the show The Weeknight. Also, Michael Steele is also a co-host on that program as well. But here's the interesting about Joe Scarborough, and probably why at the time when his show first started, it was something. Joe Scarborough was a former Republican congressman out of Florida. He was a former Republican congressman. He left the Republican Party, went independent, became a name on television, and has grown. Right, he has grown. He's still a registered independent, but he's been catching some heat. Him and his wife Mika, who's also a host on his show Morning Joe. It's interesting seeing how stuff will take place. CNBC for its part will keep its initialism, consumer news and business channel, but will debut a new logo without the peacock. Comcast will retain NBC Universal assets such as the NBC Broadcast Network, NBC News, NBC Sports, and the streaming platform Peacock and the cable brand Bravo. Now, let's see what some of their other let's see. This is reported by the Daily Beast. Now, this is a new article. It says that MSNBC makes ludicrous demands over network's name change. Just reading here. If there's anything important I can mention to you all. Okay, it says the network's biggest star, Rachel Maddow, told Variety that she didn't know how the new name of her employer was supposed to sound. I will admit, this is a quote from her. She said, I will admit to having no idea how to pronounce MS Now in what they seem to think was a concession. MSNBC suggested the media outlets were also allowed to call MS Now my source for news, opinion, and the world if they wanted to sound controversial. That's a long name. My source for news, opinion, and the world. My source for news, opinion, my MS Now. Ugh. Miss Now. That's too much. Oxford commas apparently compulsory. Let's see. The name change came as a well, I don't need to explain all that. So yeah, so it's interesting, y'all. It's interesting. I will continue to follow up with this story. Again, we're seeing a lot of changes in front of our eyes. To see MSNBC change that, which me personally, I guess I am kind of happy because for the longest you already had NBC News, and it's like, okay, is MSNBC like just why even? I don't know. It used to always kind of irk me in earlier years, and then it never bothered me since then. But maybe they are officially their own. They're their own them. They have their own name now. Does that mean is it a popular name? No, but they officially have their new name, MS Now, my source, news, opinion, world. Interesting, y'all. Interesting. All right, let me go ahead and come out of this one here. Moving on to our next story. This was interesting. So when I first heard about this, I was like, wait, what? So I read about Spike Lee and Colin Kaepernick working on a docu-series about like his time in the NFL and what took place and all that stuff. And I'm like, interesting. Felt very on brand for Spike Lee, because Spike Lee is a iconic figure, not just in the world of entertainment, but also in the world of activism. A lot of his films, in my opinion, has always had those messages that he's speaking of issues that are happening in front, in our current society. A lot of directors will never do that. He will always have that. A lot of Spike Lee films, in my opinion, always had that independent look to it, that independent vintage look. Not like, oh, I'm working with some of the major companies, Universal, or I'm working with Warner Brothers and doing this project. I'm working with this. It was like, this is a Spike Lee joint. Like, come on, a Spike Lee joint. And it was always hitting, top tier conversations that people really didn't want to see. Right? It was like, oh, even black people like, oh, I don't want to see this. But I'm happy and grateful for Spike Lee for making those kind of films, because they were very, very culturally impactful and in a huge impact in pop culture. And also, Spike Lee is a New York Knicks fan, so that's why I like him even more. But check this out. It says here, this report by RollingStone.com, ESPN won't air Spike Lee's Colin Kaepernick docuseries due to creative differences. Now, says here, the filmmaker began working on the series in 2022 with the aim to tell the full first-person account of his journey. That journey being Colin Kaepernick, who, for those again want to backtrack, Colin Kaepernick was a star NFL quarterback who played for the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think he played with any other squad besides the 49ers. Phenomenal athlete, a true talented individual. During a season where there was a lot of viral videos of showing police brutality, police either gunning down unarmed individuals, police physically beating or choking out. It was just bad stories happening. That during that period, it was like, okay, enough is enough. Enough is enough. It was the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement as well. It was so much stuff happening. Too many stories to count at that time. And Colin Kaepernick, being a very popular guy, a guy that led a team to a Super Bowl, right? Led a team to a Super Bowl, renewing his contract, the face of the NFL at that time, the face of a franchise. He was like, look, let me use my platform. And I'm going to do something that's probably not a lot of people not going to like, but at the end of the day, when you protests always come, the mission of a protest is to attract a lot of attention, bring all the attention to you. So then, boom, now that I have everybody's attention, I want to speak on the reason why I'm protesting. So what he did in protesting, over police brutality, was taking a knee during the national anthem before NFL games. And that right there, for one, he was growing out his fro. So he was already just like a power to the people. Like, he just went through this whole, black activist transformation, like over an off season. He grew out that hair, grew out that fro, it took a knee, and the rest was history. Now, the hard thing is he got so much heat because here's what you have to realize. The sport of football, majority of its fan base, well, I won't say much, a good number of his fan base is very conservative. Very conservatives. You take a knee on a flag, that's a kick in the face to everybody. The military, this and the other. And he received so much heat. But here's the funny thing. They continue to ignore it when he explained, look, before I made this protest, I sat down with war veterans, military veterans, people with highest rankings of all. They said, if you really want to make this bring this attention, then do so. And guess what? There were folks that protest along with him that also agreed and took a knee. And this and that. The oldest of the olds, so many public figures took a knee along with him. And it was sad to see how really Colin Kaepernick was blackballed by the NFL, because he was let go. Nobody signed him for years. For years, no one wanted to sign him. Why? Because they looked at, well, if I sign him, I'm liable to lose ticket sales, which means I'm going to lose money. I don't want to take that risk. Some of his former teammates also was blackballed for a minute until they got signed and they kind of won back their career. But you looked at the NFL differently. But because what he did, all of a sudden the NFL took a new stance, and they're pro this and pro that, and they have in end zones in different teams, and racism, and they partnered with Jay-Z, and he's in charge of the halftime, and he's in charge of other things involving. So it's like, and also the NFL did settle with Colin Kaepernick. Now there have been multiple occasions when Colin Kaepernick and the NFL tried to work something out to bring him back in the NFL, because as of right now, he's still very much training, but I've said it many times, the career is dead and gone as far as a career in the NFL. That's no longer there for Colin Kaepernick. No, I think the last time he played in the NFL was in 2013. Let me see, because he's 37 now. Last time he played in the NFL was 2016. Played 6 years with the San Francisco 49ers. But he was a stud. This man was a beast, and it was sad. But there was some speculations that he was making some bad decisions in regards to having a potential comeback. There was a moment where NFL coaches and scouts were scheduled to check out one of his workouts at the Mercedes Dome, I believe, in Atlanta, Georgia. Colin moved it to a local high school. Obviously, he didn't tell everybody because there were still coaches representing or reps representing other organizations that were there. Like, okay, where's Colin? Oh, he's over there. Come on now. What is this nonsense? We're scheduled to come here. Why is he making changes? To me, that was tacky. That was extremely tacky. All right, now fast forwarding. Let me read you this because I gave you a good spiel. He has since then he's signed with Nike and other organizations, having his own brands, and he's now building his brand as a black activist. Yes, he's still a former NFL star, but he became an activist. Now let me read you this. ESPN has dropped Spike Lee's forthcoming multi-part docuseries about former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Now the sports network confirmed to Reuters that they will not broadcast the series which Lee is directing. Now, says here, this is a statement from Reuters. ESPN, Colin Kaepernick, and Spike Lee have collectively decided to no longer proceed with this project as a result of uncertain creative differences. Despite not reaching finally, we appreciate all the hard work and collaborations that went into this film. Lee told Reuters that the series was not coming out. He confirmed that he is not at liberty to discuss the details, telling the news service recently, I signed a non-disclosure. I cannot talk about it. Now, ESPN Films announced the docuseries centered on Colin Kaepernick, who, as I mentioned earlier, played with the San Francisco 49ers, for the San Francisco 49ers from 2011 to 2016. And in 2020, yes, okay, I don't know why I said have in 2022. The network said that Lee we've never before seen footage from Kaepernick's archive to provide a full first-person account of his journey. At the time, Kaepernick tweeted, I'm grateful to be able to work with the legend Spike Lee on my docuseries. He added, it's time for the narrative to be corrected. Now, I don't know how the narrative was before. Maybe what I mentioned earlier about the issues happening with a previous tryout or first initial NFL comeback or the second NFL comeback. I'm not sure. Kaepernick ignited the national debate in 2016 by, as I mentioned earlier, taking a knee during the national anthem to protest systematic racism and police brutality. So I forgot about the systematic racism and, in addition to that, police brutality. He obviously received the major criticism of a certain gentleman who happened to have been president during that period or was running for office, Donald Trump, who, once again, I mean, he will forever, disgrace anybody, and just there's a lot of words I want to say about that guy. But in 2019, Kaepernick settled a collusion grievance with the league he had filed in 2017. No amount was mentioned of that, but as I mentioned before, y'all, don't expect to go back to work to a company that you sued. Would you expect them to give you a job after you done sued them and paid you? Like, no, hell no. That's probably what they saying. Hell no. Let's see here. Says here the series faced delays due to disagreements between Kaepernick and Lee over the direction of the film. Now they added that ESPN chairman Jimmy Pataro was open to allowing Lee and producer Jamel Hill in to shop it elsewhere. Here's my thing. Speculations, right? He's saying that Kaepernick and Lee were having disagreements over the direction of the film. Now, in one point, you have the docuseries is about Kaepernick. So, in my opinion, whatever he says, you would think you'd be like, hey, look, whatever you say, go ahead. I'm the star. It's my story. Hey, look, he has a right to have, the ultimate saying in things. But if I look at Kaepernick's resume as a director compared to Spike Lee's resume as a director, I would leave this to Spike Lee. Now, overall, with this story, what comes to my mind is, I think Kaepernick is being a little extra. I think Kaepernick is being kind of difficult to work with because this is the guy who had a clear opportunity to make an NFL comeback. They literally scheduled this for you. You decide to make your own rules and have it at a high school. What's the difference between having it in a high school and an NFL stadium where, sir, if you would have actually had some good tryouts and then multiple teams would have saw you, yeah, they would have said, okay, we're going to hire him. You've played in that environment before. I don't understand. And lately he's been, I forgot maybe last year there was a video of him circulating like, yeah, he still never stopped training. He never gave up on the dream of making an NFL comeback. Oh, please, Colin, dude, I'm so grateful for the stance that you took and the hit that you took because it speaks volumes, right? Your action speaks volumes much louder than your words. Your impact was truly, truly an iconic thing that you did and will forever be indebted in our nation's history. But sir, if you want this story to show, like, I don't understand, like, and I'm not saying Spike Lee's all the way innocent either, but if there was a back and forth disagreement, I don't understand. I really don't understand. You have to make it work. You have to make it work. This would have been something that a lot of folks would have anticipated. And I know Netflix have had a previous documentary about Colin Kaepernick. There's been other stories and things that was done about his life, but at the end of the day, Spike Lee is the king. Like, he really is. He's up there with your Spielberg, with your who else are famous directors? Was it Anthony Fuqua or Antoine Fuqua? Quentin Tarantino. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, he's one of the greats. So the fact that he wants to take the time and really start this, I mean, that's big time, and that's up his alley. Again, activism. That's his bread and butter. Recently Lee is continuing to build his resume with the new film called Highest to Lowest, which stars Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, and ASAP Rocky. I'm excited to check out this film and share it with you all here on this program. But I mean, I don't know about this, y'all. I don't know. What's your take on this? What's your take? Do you hope that this will eventually come out eventually, or do you think it's just it will never ever happen? What's your take on Colin Kaepernick and in general? Like, do you think what he did was very impactful, but when there were opportunities for him to come back, did he screw it himself? I mean, what's your take? I'm curious, y'all. Please hit me up on Instagram, which I forgot to mention that earlier in the show. Please follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, as well as our Substack, all under the same name, The Arrington Gavin Show. You can also check out our website, www.theagshow.com. Again, that's www.theagshow.com. We are, my friends, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more show for you here on The Arrington Gavin Show, so please do not go anywhere. We will be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, that's that new Goldverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing Goatverse TV.
Goatverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In goats, we trust.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back. All right, next up, far right-wing conservative network Newsmax settles to pay $67 million. $67 million. Why, you ask? Well, they've reached a settlement with Dominion Voting Systems in a defamation case. Okay, so what else is new when it comes to this network? Because first of all, when I tell y'all, I'm a news buff, right? I try. It's hard for me to watch Newsmax. It really is. For a split, for a teensy-weensy split second, I thought that they were somewhat trying to be a little, because in the initial stages, they were a lot, right? They were a lot. But I mean on their stances. They were very, very, very on their extreme end. But then they announced at the time they were bringing on oh Lord, what is her name? Hold that thought. Brought in a journalist, Greta. Okay, there we go. Greta Van Susteren. Okay, so the thing why I thought that they were somewhat moving in a different direction when they brought her, because this lady, and I wouldn't say she's extreme one way or the other. She could be conservative or Republican. I could care less. But when you look at her resume, this lady, look, 14 years on Fox News. She had worked with CNN, MSNBC as well, and she was always just that straightforward news person. So when I'm like, okay, she's signing with Newsmax, is this like a a, a rough career move for her? Is she trying to make a comeback, or is this like, to me it was? I thought that was, in my opinion, down a demotion, right? Because she was on other platforms before that, and I'm just like, why in the hell is she? But I assume, I'm like, okay, boom, you bringing her in? Maybe, you're trying to. So how's that going to look? Oh, I was wrong. Obviously, I was very wrong on that. Newsmax is forever going to continue on being their, I won't even say conservative, far right leaning news network. Now, I want to read you more about this report about Politico. The conservative leading news cable network Newsmax agreed to pay Dominion Voting Systems $67 million to settle a defamation lawsuit over false election claims that the 2020 elections was rigged. That right there is already a red flag, because they've been spewing that for the longest now out of all the conservative outlets. Obviously, Fox had took the worst hit, because I think they took damn near $800 million they had to pay Dominion Voting System. Now, Dominion Voting Systems filed a lawsuit against Newsmax and several other defendants in 2021, seeking $1.6 billion in damages. The settlement avoids a trial that was set to begin in October. Now, Dominion spokesperson said that we are pleased to have settled with this matter. As part of the agreement, the first payment of $27 million was paid that was paid on August 15th. Now, two more payments of $20 million must be paid in 2026 and 2027, according to the filing from the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, in a statement, Newsmax defended its coverage as fair, balanced, and conducted with professional standards of journalism. That is a crock, because there's nothing fair about Newsmax. Let me break it down again. There's nothing fair nor balanced about this network. That's what kills me with all these, partisan news networks. They always say we're truth, we're balanced, we're common sense, we're this and that. I mean, I saw a Fox News one, and I'm like, are y'all really? Do y'all think we're dumb? Like, that's y'all. I'm telling you. If y'all think that you know everything about politics because you watch CNN, or you think you know everything about politics because you watch Fox News, or you think you know everything about politics because you watch Newsmax, y'all have got to do better. It goes way further than just reading headline news. You have to read articles. You have to read up on independent medias. All right. You have to read a variety of things, because you start pinpoint, okay, how are they talking about this exact story that everybody else is taking? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta read between the lines. This action taken, this was let's see, statement from Newsmax CEO Christopher Ruddy. This action taken against Newsmax and earlier against Fox News represents the direct attack on free speech and free press. Oh, you're killing me. And this is the same network that advocates for the guy that's in the White House right now, free speech and free press. He's already exciting. He keeps on talking about, I can't wait until Jimmy Kimmel is done. I'm, Stephen Colbert, the one down, two more to go. I mean, look, this is the same guy. This is the same guy that removed most of the prominent news platforms from the press room to bring in all his, folks that like to kiss his tail, in a sense. It's insane, and they have the nerve to advocate for free press and freedom of speech. At the end of the day, y'all, networks like this you should not advocate for. You should not even waste your time on them. You really should not. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always going to say each side does need their mouthpiece somewhere. I see the reason to have it. I'm not crazy about the strong partisan, but I see it. Whether you can be center left, center right. To me, that's a perfect balance. But when you're just like all liberal or all conservative, I'm like, Jesus Louise, like how do you even know what you're witnessing or you're watching is accurate or is telling the truth? Because all it is going to be choosing a side. So I'm not crazy about it, but I just want to let y'all know here on this show, it's not gonna be no choosing the sides. The side will be good or bad. Those are the only sides that I choose. Good or bad. I'm always gonna be on the side of empathy. I'm always gonna be on the side of again, right and wrong. Those are the sides that I choose, and that should be the side that everybody should choose. But hey, sorry to break it to you, that's just not the case that happens in our society here. So yeah, wanted to bring up this article for you, and I'm looking at my time. Let's see. I think I have about 2 minutes left, y'all. I want to bring up this this has been on my heart. Okay, this has been on my heart for the longest. Y'all have got to get your ish together when it comes to spending buku money on a photo with a celebrity. Now, I bring this up because folks love Chris Brown. It's funny. I was just talking to my wife. My wife had brought up Chris Brown, but I know a lot of folks online is saying Chris Brown is our generation's Michael Jackson. Why? Because he's a hell of an entertainer. He sings, he dances, he gives you a great show filled with theatrics and great production and all that stuff. But his meet and greets, you have to pay additional $1,000 to have a meet and greet. Like this lady, she paid $2,000 for her garter removal by Chris Brown in the photo. $2,000. Now, at first, I was always on the fence when it came to, hey, if I'm a public figure, am I going to charge people for photos? I feel like I wouldn't, but I see in this instance, I agree with him charging because he's doing a lot of stuff. Like there's photos of him, they want to straddle him and they, oh, please grab me right here in my butt. Like they want to get intimate with Chris Brown in these photos. So I get it. For one, pay me. Two, I'm pretty sure there's some disclosure form they got to pay because you got to be safe when you're a public figure in his with his what's the word I'm looking for, at his caliber, right, with his resume and stuff. And so I understand it, but I'm really not. I'm never really a fan of we got to pay for pictures. I mean, I get it. People got to make a living, depending on which industry you're in. Because look, as a kid, I was a diehard, and I still am. I'm a fan of pro wrestling, the entertainment wrestling. I'm a fan of it, and you see a lot of pastime wrestlers, pro wrestlers that are retired. They continue to go to like Comic Cons, different meet and greets and stuff, and they get paid for that, sign autograph, this and any other. I understand. Y'all, I'm going to continue this conversation though because I'm not finished talking about y'all who spend a lot of freaking money on these meet and greets and on these concert tickets and paying $1,000 so that freaking Chris Brown can take off your girdle, knowing good and damn well you'll probably got to behind on your rent or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying y'all don't have that kind of money to keep us spending out here, y'all. We got to do better when it comes to our finances. I'm going to continue this conversation on the next show, y'all. But that is my time. Love y'all. Y'all continue to stay blessed out there, stay safe, stay informed, and tune into another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show the next day. Peace. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.